Hey everybody, what is going on? CerealOverdrive here, and today I'm playing Entropia Universe. What we're going to be doing today is a 50 PED mining run that I've already started with 3 drops. We're going to be mining for end matter ore, and because we are on the planet Arcadia, we're actually going to be mining for treasure too. So we're going to get sort of a threefer in here. And what we're going to be talking about today is sort of the state of Entropia Universe in 2019. So that's sort of an issue. I've heard a lot of people debating just whether or not Entropia is doing good, whether or not the game is still sort of viable, and how viable it is given, recent advancements, right? So when Entropia came about back in, I think it was like 2005, 2006, MMORPGs were the latest and greatest hit. It was the thing that everybody was playing. It was what everybody was doing, and people were just ecstatic for them, right? It was the thing to be. Now, obviously, it's 2019. Many, many years have passed, over a decade, and things have changed. Some of those changes are good, some of them are bad, and one of the bad things is, at least from the Entropia Universe standpoint, MMORPGs just aren't as big as they used to be. So with that comes like a lot of questions that people always ask, and sort of the main question that you always seem to hear is just, how's Entropia doing? Can Entropia survive? Will it survive? Is Entropia growing? Is it shrinking? What is the state of Entropia Universe? So I thought today would be a good day to tackle that. I'm mining, so we can sort of kick back, relax. You guys can watch me find some claims, and I can hopefully make some money. And we can talk about the state of Entropia Universe. So the biggest thing, and sort of the easiest way to see the state of Entropia, is basically to look at your deeds. So what deeds are, for those of you guys who don't know, is there's sort of a payout, a set of payouts that you get based on how each planet does. So right now there's 3 types of deeds, okay? There used to be 4, but now there's only 3. There's 3 types of deeds, and those would be, you've got your Calypso deeds, so that's where you get a payment from Calypso, which would be a planet. You get a cut of the whole like sort of intake from that planet. Then you've got Arcadia deeds, or planet Arcadia deeds, and then you've got Arcadia moon deeds. So Arcadia moon deeds, not planet Arcadia, sorry, Arcadia underground deeds, and then you have Arcadia moon deeds. So Arcadia moon deeds are sort of the newest introduction to the game. They were released by Mindark about a little over a year and a half, maybe probably like a year and a half ago, roughly, a little under a year and a half ago. And what they are is they're giving you sort of a split of the profits from Arcadia Moon. Now, to get these deeds originally, you had to buy them through Mindark and through their store. After Mindark sold all of the deeds, they were going to allow players to sell the deeds on the auction. So if you bought a bunch of moon deeds and you wanted to sell it, or, in a year or two's time you want to get your money out, it would be simple. Hopefully Mindark sold all their deeds and you can sell yours then on the auction. That hasn't happened. And that's sort of the first thing I want to discuss, because it's not terrible, right? It's not indicative of failure. The moon is paying out, and the moon's payouts aren't great, but it is paying out, right? But what that is indicative of is it shows you that there's not as much investment, not as much interest as there used to be. Calypso land deeds sold out probably in under a year, I'm pretty sure. And the same sort of holds true for Arcadia underground deeds. For the Arcadia moon, you're not seeing that. And recently, sort of the issue is that you recently had this project called Compats. And there were a 4th type of deeds, and those were compat deeds. I don't know if funding for the whole compat program was done all fully through the deeds, or if it was done through the deeds and then Mindark contributed a little bit. And that's very important to sort of understand the differences between the two, because if the funding was done through the deeds, right, compat failed. So for those of you who don't know, those of you who probably are new to the game maybe, compat deeds are deeds that have failed, basically. Mindark released them. They were going to do the standalone game that would take part with crafting and sort of integrate Entropia Universe into a sort of like Pokemon battles type thing. It never took off. Nobody was really interested in it. The people behind it didn't work with any... They didn't do any advertising, right? So they created a program that wasn't interesting to a lot of the people who played this game. and at the same time they didn't really work with anyone to get a new audience. So it failed, as you'd expect, because even if they make the greatest game in the world, someone's got to try out that game. You've got to hit your niche, and they couldn't do that even. So there's never any sort of hype around it. Alright. So there was hype inside of. Ooh, we got three Ds at once. We're gonna drop again. But so there was hype inside of our Entropia, but there was no hype outside of it. And these deeds were sort of or the game, I guess, not the deeds. The game was aimed at people probably who are not going to be playing Entropia Universe, or just tamers inside of Entropia Universe. Obviously, it fell flat, and the game sort of went under. It's no longer there. It just died. And Mindark sort of half-assed it, and they said, well, you know, if someone comes forward with more money, we're willing to pick the game up, but until further notice, it's sort of over. This is not a good sign, right? Because A, we don't know if Mindark dumped money into this, if some of the money from Entropia Universe went into this game. We don't know how that affects Entropia's bottom line. If it was fully player funded, what happened was, at sort of a cost of Mindark lost a lot of players' trust, they created a game, the game didn't do well, and that was that. This has happened before. They released banks in Entropia Universe, there's various planets that have failed, and that's something that we're going to be covering just in a little bit. But you can tell, like, when those combat deeds failed, they sold them to a large majority of players. And when you do that, a lot of players sort of lost faith in Entropia Universe. And I think as an investment, they lost faith in it. Because when Calypso land deeds were released, they doubled in profit. Okay, or they doubled in value. And they pumped out some pretty decent profits. I've had them since the beginning, and those deeds were, they did amazing by me. When Arcadia Underground deeds were released, they went up about 50%. Right now they're sitting about 50%, right? And those deeds also did pretty good. Like, their payouts are pretty decent. Both them and Calypso land deeds are paying between 8 and 10% a year, which is a really good return on an investment that did double in value, especially for those early initial adopters. Now, a lot of people were expecting that with combat deeds. So when the combat deeds failed, a lot of people were sort of put off by that, and I think that definitely hurt the Moon Deeds sales. With the Moon Deeds, you can also see that Mindark, the people who sort of run the game, it almost feels like they lost faith in it too, because when they released the deeds, they didn't say, like, you can just put PEDs in, you can just deposit whenever you want, or use money you've got in-game and buy the deeds. This is what they've done with everything. Literally everything they've released, probably outside of planets that were just millions and millions of dollars. Every transaction has happened inside of the game in PEDs, because PEDs are the in-game currency. It's a real cash economy game, and why wouldn't you actually use the currency of the game? But this time it didn't happen. What Mindark said is, you give us money, USDs, you give us fiat, cold hard cash, that doesn't convert to PEDs, it converts to deeds. And then at some point these deeds are gonna, pay out, and that's how you're going to get your money back, or you can sell the deeds. Now, they said they sold these at a discount to players, or they said they're going to sell them cheaper and they're going to raise the price. Well, Mindark did raise the price, and right now it looks like about 20% of their inventory, 10 to 20% of their inventory of Arcadia Moon Deeds is still left. There's a lot of players who are upset about that. This is sort of a big issue, okay? Because one of the games I recently started playing is Star Citizen. And in Star Citizen, you see a lot of people that are very upset with the game because the game sort of overpromised, and while they are delivering, the delivery is taking a lot longer than promised. You're seeing this with combat deeds, and Mindark has done this in the past. This isn't anything new, but now they're doing it to a large majority of players. You can see it with houses. That was something that was released with CLDs. You can see it with space. You can see it with a lot of spaceships. You can see it with various things have been released, but this is sort of the first time that Mindark has let down, sort of back-to-back, let down wide swaths of players. Usually it's just one or two people who are upset, or it's going to be a smaller minority. This time they've upset a lot of people. And I think what a lot of people are wondering is, does this affect the bottom line? So the easiest way to tell is looking at the deeds that are paying out, and that's actually all of them. So let's go here. So you can see, we got a claim. Let's go grab that. Actually, I'm going to teleport this claim so this mob doesn't attack me. So hopefully you guys are finding this interesting. If you want more videos like this, always feel free to let me know. So here you can see the Calypso land deeds, and this is sort of what spawned this, this video. If you look here, the latest payout was 53.2 PEDs. Before that it was 54.19, then it was 55.23, then it was 54, then it was 55, 55, here it's 57, 52, 61, 61. You can see this, right? You can see how we've got an issue here, right? Here you've got 60 PED payouts, and a couple months later, those payouts have dropped 10 PEDs, maybe 12 PEDs. That's a significant amount, because what you've got to do is you don't think in PED amounts, you've got to think in percentages. So based on this percentage, Calypso's receiving, what, 10 to 20% less revenue now than it was a couple months ago. And you guys are saying, well, Cereal, there's Merry Mayhem a couple months ago. There was an event. That's why it's up. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump back, go through this dates, and we're going to jump back here sort of a year ago, right? They were paying out 55, 53, 53. You can see the payouts were the same, right? 60, 49, 48, 48. So this is sort of following the pattern, okay? And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. I don't want to necessarily prove that Calypso's dying. I just want to show you, like, this is a pattern. So just because your deed sort of payouts are down doesn't necessarily mean anything. The same thing's going on with Arcadia Moon. A lot of you guys have been asking, like, should I buy Arcadia Moon deeds? Shouldn't I? Arcadia Moon deeds, at one point, they were paying out every day, and now they're paying out every other day, and even every third day. So their payouts are going down, but again, this is because they had an event. Arcadia Underground deeds are sort of holding steady, and they're paying out every day, and they've been paying out about the same rate for the better part of a year, honestly. Every now and then you get a little bit more, but for the better part of a year, they've just been paying the same old payout. Every now and then you'll get a double payout, but for the most part, you're getting about 1 PEC per deed a day. So this sort of shows you that Entropia Universe and the state of Entropia Universe, it's not exactly growing, but the game hasn't crashed. They don't have the selling power that they once did, because it used to be Entropia would announce something, and people looked at it as, I accidentally dropped that probe there, by the way. That wasn't anything that I meant to do. People looked at it as this huge thing. They looked at it as like, oh wow, this is the next opportunity. I need to get in on this. Land areas, everybody jumped on those. Treasure Island, Club Never Die, spaceships, everything. People just dived right in. They loved it. And now what you're seeing is people having a little bit more resistance to just throwing money at Entropia and buying stuff. I don't know what this is indicative of, but what you see right now in the real world is a lot of people have a lot of spare cash, especially in technology and everything like that, because the economy is doing amazing. And what you should see in Entropia is you should see more and more players throwing money at it, but the fact that it's held steady, that it shows me that Entropia is not growing when it should be growing. So it makes me worry about how Entropia is going to be doing in 2 years if there's a recession, or 3 years if there's a recession. Right now, the USD is at an all-time high, and the PED is linked to the USD. So I'm assuming if they run their bank accounts right, Mindark gets everything in US dollars, and they're paying in, I don't know, Swedish kroner. The Swedish currency, right? Because that's where Mindark's based out of. And I'm assuming that this is good for them because the US dollar is high. So I'm assuming right now they're doing okay. But if that normalizes and we see a bit of a recession, can Mindark hold? I don't know what their operating budget is. I don't know what the costs are. But there is quite the cost to just maintaining a code base and maintaining servers. So I'm sure that that's a significant chunk of what Mindark's making. And what we're seeing here is we aren't seeing too much growth. A lot of you guys are coming to my channel, you're loving the game, or you're loving my channel, but a lot of people I've noticed, they come to the channel, they're really into the game for the first like a week or two. That time goes by, maybe they put in $10, right? And it does okay. But I see, like, usually in the 1 month to 3 month stage, a lot of players' interest sort of wanes in the game. You'll have these people who are like super into the game who, for whatever reason, in a couple months, they just lose interest and move on to the next thing. And let's be honest, if I didn't have such a high amount of value in this game, I probably would do the same thing. So I completely understand that. So the player base isn't really growing or shrinking. What MineDark's got to be relying on, and this is my guess, is they're relying on sort of the big depositors. And the big depositors right now are people who are putting in hundreds to thousands of dollars a month. And I've talked to some of them. I definitely know they're out there. And those are sort of the people that are supporting the game. Again, this is very similar to like the Star Citizen model, the Fortnite model, something like that. The game's essentially free to play for the masses, and it's supported by just a core group of players, a core group of people. This can work. This can do really, really good. And it has. You're seeing a lot of companies succeed with that. Now, here's where it comes down to. Those people are the same people who are going to be depositing money. The people who deposit money are the same people who are going to be depositing money to buy deeds. They're not going to be the free-to-play players because even an account like mine, I'm free to play, but I can't buy any deeds because I don't deposit. So what MineDark did, and this is sort of where I want to get to, with Arcadia Moon Deeds, MineDark specifically targeted the depositing players, their core base, and they gave them the deeds. They sold it to them. And they sold them in mass. And here's the problem. If every player who deposits, and I'm guessing like 50% probably, bought those deeds because they thought, hey, it's a good value on my money, and they were told they could probably withdraw them in fall of last year, 6 months ago. Well, the time's come and gone, and they can't get that money out of those deeds, and in fact, the payouts they're okay, but I don't think they're exactly what a lot of people are hoping for, and I don't think people are going to see the huge jump in value once the deeds are sellable on auction. This is sort of where... So, I don't know how to say it. This is where we are right now. I guess this is the state of Entropia. MineDark has a lot of their core player base invested monetarily in the game. That monetary investment right now is looking a little shaky, whether these players know it or not. Now, I think based on that monetary investment and how well it does, you're either going to see people who are really pumped about the game and they love everything that's going on, or you're going to see people that are really upset. And people who are really upset are not going to be people who put money into the game. So that's sort of where I wanted to get with it. I wanted to just discuss Entropia Universe, and like Entropia Universe definitely isn't dying. Now, like from last year to now, you're not seeing any growth, but you're not seeing much decline either. In my opinion, maybe there's a little positive growth, maybe there's a little negative growth, but it's not something that would kill the game or the company that runs the game. In fact, because the USD went up compared to most currencies, this is probably going to be a, not record-breaking year for them, but a pretty good year for MineDark. That said, there are a few issues. With the Moon Deeds, that's sort of the big looming issue that's really gonna determine the state of Entropia Universe in the coming months and years. Because that's where MineDark can either really sort of shore their depositing players, the players who are putting money into the game and supporting the game, and say, look, you put money in, you trusted us, and this is what you got, and don't you love it? And then the players are going to be ecstatic. They're going to be happy. They're going to be, positive reinforcement. They'll probably be more likely to deposit in the future. They'll be more likely to let money sit in MineDark's bank account and make interest. There's a lot of companies that run just off of interest from money that sits in their bank account. So MineDark's got to be making something on that. Now, that said, this could also turn around and go bad for them. They could be enforcing enforcing a mentality of, I don't want to put money into this game because, look at this, it just disappears. Usually when players put in the money that they use to buy those deeds, they're hunting, they're playing, and they're like, well, it lasted me a month. It's better than going to a bar, better than buying a pack of smokes, whatever. But if you're putting that money in and it's sitting there in deeds, and then those deeds aren't paying out like people expected, they're not saying that anymore. They're saying, hey, I made an investment, this investment doesn't work, and I'm going to be honest, when I invest in a company and the company does bad and my investment does bad, it ruins my reputation with that company in a way, right? Like, I want the company to succeed, but if that investment that I made goes down significantly and it stays down, at some point I'm going to be like, well, screw this company, this sucks. And I don't know. That's just, I feel like that's the state of Entropia Universe right now. And whether it's good or bad, it is what it is. I'm very curious to hear you guys' opinions on this, because this is something I thought about for a bit. I sort of put it together. I wanted to go over the deeds. I wanted to go over the moon and sort of the state of the game. They're making some great updates. They're making some good changes. So there's definitely forward progress as far as development goes and everything like that. I'm not going to knock them for that. They've managed to get the moon released. Arcadia, the planet Arcadia, is doing some cool stuff. Even some of these dead planets are doing events now to draw players in. So it's really good to see that. And one of the other things that I didn't account for is if these dead planets are pulling in more players, maybe that's why we're seeing no increase in the amount of PEDs spent through deeds, but they actually are increasing. What you can see is Arcadia Moon deeds. That's a whole nother planet. That's a whole nother payout that's got to be supported that players are on. So some players obviously left Arcadia. Some players left Calypso, but they didn't leave the game. And when you see that, that actually is it's a good sign. It means the game's growing if your payments stay steady, and that's happening. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that, get some people thinking, because I know a lot of people are like, is Arcadia going to make it the next year? Or is this going to die? Is that going to die? And honestly, I think Mindark is doing fine right now. And depending on how these moon deeds are going, they're either going to shore themselves up for the next 5 to 10 years, or they're going to have to make some changes in the next couple of years. I don't think that's bad. I think they got a new CEO even. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and it's not all bad. I know a lot of people think it is. A lot of people think like the game's dying, so I just wanted to cover that and show like the game's not dying. In fact, it's probably staying steady, if not growing. And the amount of money coming in is definitely sort of staying steady at the very minimum, just based on deed payouts and past histories. But the fact that new deeds are able to pay out shows that it's growing just a little bit at least. Anyways, let's total this run up. So I went out with 50 PEDs. I've got 39.54 right now. You're going to see a little bit of markup on some of this stuff. Let's jump through it here. So this stuff I'm pretty familiar with. This stuff I'm not, though. Ooh. Look at that, look at that. This thing has a 500% markup. If that's true, it looks pretty truthful, to be honest. Like, 500%, that's what someone was selling it for. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to refine those stones and see what that sells for, but that's one to watch. Let's check out this next one. So Kaz, that's, you know, it's got a decent markup to it, but not tons. Same with all this stuff, I believe. Yep. Let's check the treasure, because that is an unknown to me. Alright, 100%. Pretty much 100%. 100%. And 100%. So this is sort of the real standout here, that Cordule stone. Let's check auction and see where we're at, because right now we lost about 10 PEDs, maybe 9 PEDs with markup. So the key is going to be, if this does have that 500%, we're probably going to be break even. So let's take a look here. Where is my auction terminal? Right here. There we go. Auction's usually purple. So now all we've got to do is go down here, go to refined resources, and let's check it out. I think it was called Cordial. Oh, is it not here? Let's check real quick. Cordule stone. I'm not seeing it. You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to refine this. I'm taking you through the process of refining this at the end. If you guys want to click out, that's fine. I'm done talking about Entropia Universe and sort of the state of Entropia Universe in 2019. I think we covered quite a bit with that, and I think we're pretty good. Also, Mindark, if you guys could fix that, that'd be awesome. I don't know why my avatar has a refiner inside of him, but it's a little weird. A little weird. He does the same thing with his finders. Alright, let's check this out here. So here we've got a Cordule stone, and the markup dropped significantly. We're looking at 178%. So we took about a, what did we take? We probably lost about 7 or 8 PEDs on this run. That's not too bad. That's not the sort of thing that I'm going to be super upset about, but that's pretty average. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't horrible. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you agree with me, disagree with me, please let me know down below in the comments, because I really do welcome the discussion. I really do welcome people with differing opinions, because it's always good to get someone else's take on it, especially when they disagree. If you guys want to help me out, as always, you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. It always helps. Anyways, I'm not going to draw this out too long, so thanks for watching, and until next time, peace.